I cannot believe this, as we've got a real reason on why the Lakers were able to make a trade for Dorian Finney-Smith, as the trade is now finalized and has gone through. However, there are some new details that have surfaced on the trade, and it explains what big reason for the Brooklyn Nets to make this trade with the Lakers over any other team. What's good? I'm Okechi Apakama, and this is Lakers Digest coming at you with another video. And before we get into everything we have for you for today's video, I just want to remind you guys to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already to get those Laker updates. Now, with that out of the way, let's hop straight into the big story of today, and that is the real reason Dorian Finney-Smith is a Laker. So if you guys haven't already heard by now, Dorian Finney-Smith is a Los Angeles Lakers. The Lakers traded for him earlier today after getting rid of D'Angelo Russell. And this is the full trade details here, as D'Angelo Russell, Maxwell Lewis will be headed to the Brooklyn Nets along with 3 second-round picks, 2 of them unprotected, and another one that's a conditional second-round pick. And then the Lakers will be receiving Dorian Finney-Smith and Shake Milton. So this is a big deal for the Los Angeles Lakers, as this shakes up the rotation and really shuffle things in I think, an appropriate way to help align things better for the Los Angeles Lakers. But there is a real reason why the Lakers were able to attain a guy like Dorian Finney-Smith, because there was a lot of teams coveted for a guy like Finney-Smith's services because of his 3-and-D capabilities. He's been a guy that has been able to do that for the past couple of seasons here, for not only for the Nets but also for the Dallas Mavericks earlier. So a lot of teams were vying for his services, and a lot of people were wondering if it was going to take a first-round pick to get a guy like Dorian Finney-Smith, and evidently that was not needed for the Los Angeles Lakers. And a big reason why was because of what the Lakers had to offer. So this is from Mike Scotto, who said there's another team that was in on Dorian Finney-Smith, and that is the Grizzlies. So before the Brooklyn Nets traded for Dorian Finney-Smith to the Los Angeles Lakers, the Memphis Grizzlies offered a top 15 protected 2025 first-round pick and Luke Kennard and John Conchard to the Nets for Finney-Smith for second-round compensation and Finney-Smith. So this is huge, because we reported on this the other day with Hunter and his video saying that the Brooklyn Nets were looking towards with the Memphis Grizzlies to make a deal, but it looks like they pivoted to the Los Angeles Lakers, who came in and swooped in and got a guy like Dorian Finney-Smith for their roster. And a big reason why was because of the young player the Lakers attached in that deal. So the Nets pivoted away from the Grizzlies' offer of Dorian Finney-Smith due to pick protections on the 2026 first round pick, or 2025 first round pick, excuse me. And then Brooklyn preferred the Lakers' offer of 3 second round picks and Maxwell Lewis over a heavily protected first from Memphis. And that is a big deal, because I've been told that the Los Angeles Lakers have these picks or young guys that nobody wants apparently, but Maxwell Lewis was a guy that a team like the Brooklyn Nets were looking that it could be possibly better than even a first-round pick, because they could have had their protected first-round pick. It would have been top 15 protected, but they still would be able to get that pick if it fell underneath the 15th pick range. But they pivoted towards what the Lakers had to offer, which is 3 second-round picks, which they can do whatever they please with, whether if it was going to make a draft and pick somebody in that draft, or were to trade that pick for another trade down the road. And they also get another young guy in Maxwell Lewis, who is a very undervalued, underrated player at this point of his career, mostly because he hasn't done anything at the NBA level substantially. He has some nice stints in the G League and also had a pretty nice summer league for the Los Angeles Lakers. But this was the stats here down in the G League, as he averaged just about 17 points per game, about 7 rebounds, and 2.5 assists. So it's not like Maxwell Lewis was a guy that wasn't a very unplayable prospect. He's just a very young, very raw type of prospect. He went to a very small D1 school out here in California, and he was a guy that wasn't really in a big major program over there, so he was able to lead that team in scoring. And then he came over to the Los Angeles Lakers with a lot of skills, but not a lot of know-how on the court, so that's why he hasn't gotten much NBA minutes. But the Brooklyn Nets see something in a guy like Maxwell Lewis and think they can develop him, because I've seen some flashes from Lewis, as he's been a guy that can take the ball ball all the way to the rim off no dribbles, just off of strides. He's a very long and rangy athlete. This guy is very athletic too. He can probably win a dunk contest at some point in his career. But for the Lakers, Dorian Finney-Smith was the prize they were able to attain, and they were able to get him. But that leads me to my next point here, and that is what the outlook is. So the Los Angeles Lakers now reshuffling this team, having Dorian Finney-Smith come in, and then having D'Angelo Russell, Maxwell Lewis come out. Also with Shake Milton, cannot forget about him as well. So I'll get to him a little bit later. But first, Dorian Finney-Smith, as he's a guy that is a tremendous 3-and-D player, probably one of the best players out there on the market. And Rob Pelinka addressed the media due to a statement here, and then this is what Rob Pelinka said about the trade. And he said, "We want to thank D'Angelo for his second stint with us. We celebrated some great moments and accomplishments on the court together. We want to wish him and Maxwell Lewis well in the future and endeavors with the Brooklyn Nets. And with this trade, we are thrilled to add physicality and toughness, elite shooting that Dorian Finney-Smith will bring to our core. We also greatly value the playmaking of Shake Milton, and we are excited for the fans to get both of the players on the court." So that is what he released in the press release after the Lakers announced making that trade official. And so we're excited about Finney-Smith's not only his 3-and-D capabilities and potential, but his physicality and toughness on defense. And that is something that the Lakers have been missing, especially with Jared Vanderbilt out for this entire season and even most of last year. So getting a guy, he's not as good as Jared Vanderbilt, but he's a guy that can add some toughness on the defensive side of the ball and really shore up the Lakers on the defensive side of the ball. It's something that D'Angelo also really couldn't do at that spot in the position, but Dorian Finney-Smith is more than capable. He can guard a multitude of guys, which really helps the Lakers' versatility, and a guy like Anthony Davis, who really loves that defensive versatility among these players, because we've seen some of the better defensive play from the Lakers, and that's because they've added a bit of a defensive player in the starting lineup with Max Christie, and it just worked so well for the Lakers. So another guy coming in, we still don't know if he's going to start or come off the bench for the Lakers, but Dorian Finney-Smith is a very solid add, very solid get. Just look at his stats for the season. It's 10 points per game, about 4.6 rebounds per game, averaging just under a steal per game, but the shooting percentages is where it's at. 45% from the field, 43% from three, and he shoots 40% from the corners, which is a very important thing because that's where a majority of his shots are probably going to come from. So Dorian Finney-Smith being a nice add, and then Shake Milton, I said I was going to get to later. So he could be a little bit of a sneaky add. So now the Lakers, with trading with D'Angelo Russell, there's a bit of a hole there that he leaves, especially on the offensive side of the ball with the offensive creation and playmaking. And this is maybe where even a guy like Shake Milton in the short term could possibly step up into a role, as he's kind of been a bench guard for most of his career, but he's a guy that can get hot, especially on the offensive side of the ball. He can shoot the ball quite well from three. He's over a 40% shooter from that range this season. So he can be a nice add there. And let's see about the playmaking, especially there's going to be a lot of playmaking responsibilities coming off the bench. So that's going to come down to guys like Gabe Vincent. And then another guy who I don't really think we're looking at too much is Dalton Connect. And I know he's more of a shooter / scorer, but he's been shown, especially at the college level, to handle the ball a little bit. So maybe there is more ball handling responsibilities for a guy like Dalton Connect in that second unit without D'Angelo Russell. So that's what I look for here. So within these next maybe week or so of games, because I do believe Lakers could be making another deal here. Don't know whether it's going to be for the backup big or maybe that scoring guard that can play some defense. One of the two things that the Lakers are going to be vying for, they can still use those first-round picks, which is very important that they didn't use in the Dorian Finney-Smith deal, so they have a lot to work with. But in the short term here, we'll see who that backup point guard, it's going to start with Gabe Vincent, but I do think Shake Milton's going to get a shot, and maybe even Dalton Connect is going to get some more playmaking responsibilities as well. But that's probably going to be it for this video, guys. Make sure you guys comment down below of what you think of this trade. How do you think Dorian Finney-Smith is going to fit with the Lakers? Do you think he's going to be a starter? Do you think he's going to be coming off the bench? And how do you think the Lakers would use him there? And even Shake Milton. How do you think the Lakers would view a guy like Shake Milton? Do you think he's going to get some more minutes? I do think he's going to get some time there because unlike a guy like Maxwell Lewis, he can be a guy that can step in and play in the NBA right now, where Maxwell Lewis is probably still maybe a year away. So let us know what you think in the comments down below. And there is also one more thing for us, guys. 82% of you guys who have not subscribed to the channel just yet. And if you want more of that Laker news, Laker updates, trade rumors, trade recaps, game recaps, just every and all things LA Lakers, you guys want to come right here to Lakers Digest so you don't miss any of that action. All right, I have been your host, Okechi Apakama, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.